I should start by saying when Paul mentioned this story to me, I was shocked that, as someone that sort of takes pride in knowing about African American history and got a minor in African American history from an Ivy League university, that I had never heard of this person at all in my life. So I knew immediately I was interested just off of that, because it's interesting to try to expose some history that really should never have been covered up. And so the story of Eugene Bullard is, anybody from Columbus is going to find a point of access, because this is a hometown guy. So late 1800s, he was born actually kind of in the swamps south of Columbus. Moved to Columbus when he was like 6 years old with his parents and I think he was one of 7 kids. And they lived in a little shotgun house on Talbotton Road, which we know what that is still. And the story is crazy. In a nutshell, when he's, I think, about 10, his father, who worked for W.C. Bradley, got in a bit of an altercation. There was some threat of violence to his dad. And as a result of that, and it was race-based as well, and as a result of that, this kid decided, there's something better out there for me. And so at 10 years old, he started backpacking across Georgia. Lived with gypsies, lived with people that had horses, and he was a jockey for them in South Georgia. Was living in Atlanta, and when he had a little money of his own, he was living in a boarding house at like 13, paying his own way. And it got to a point where he had it in his mind that Europe was kind of the ultimate destination. The gypsies were from England, I think, and so they gave him this impression, like, black folks in Europe, it's a different story, that's where you need to go. And so he stowed away on a ship, and the rest of, essentially, the adventure is there in Paris, in France for him. Without giving too much away, you know, he was a prize-fighting boxer. He did vaudeville at the same time as people like Josephine Baker coming up. He fought in World War I in the Battle of Verdun and survived. He got Croix de Guerre from that, and then fought again in World War I as a fighter pilot. And so he was the first black fighter pilot in World War history, as far as anybody can tell. And owns jazz clubs in Montmartre at the height of like jazz age Paris. Celebrities like crazy coming through his bar. You have like Zelda and F. Scott Fitzgerald were there a lot. Noel Coward, the playwright. Salvador Dali, the artist. Prince Edward and his wife Wallis Simpson regularly. I mean, these are the kind of people that he spent time with on a daily basis. So this was just par for course for him. I mean, he just kind of had this thing from when he was a kid of, anything I want to do, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to let what I look like make it impossible for me to achieve my goals. Of course, there is sort of a sad end to the story, which is that once World War II broke out and it became too dangerous for him to be in Europe and he came home, you know, we're living in, Jim Crow era at that time. So even living in Harlem, which was, I guess, a little bit better even in that segregated nature, I mean, he was unable to have the same kind of respect and prestige in his career that he had in Europe, and he sort of lived out his days as an elevator operator at Rockefeller Center, so I guess that's a pretty nice elevator. But, you know, I mean, this is someone that, like, was a historical first, that really just kind of got lost in obscurity. And that's why I'm so excited about this play, because he made a point to write his own autobiography. There has been a great biography written on him by our own Craig Lloyd, who was a CSU history professor. And even still, I just feel like his impulse was, I want people to know what I did, and I want them to believe me, because it's unbelievable, honestly. And so, you know, working on this piece, it's exciting to think that we get to do what he wanted to be able to do, which is get his story out there and give it life and validate it.